Part 2 of Men Can't Cheat. Obey God rather than man, because it's lawful for a man to have more than one wife. Now, when you look at how the Native Americans was operating with multiple wives, and that they knew they went back to Issachar and Gad, Reuben, and Simeon, they knew they was from the tribes of Israel that was under the Mosaic law, and they was going by these laws, living by this culture of the Israelites. You get a deep understanding of why a man cannot cheat. Now, if you saying cheating is lying, okay, he can tell a lie, but it's not adultery. This is what Christianity calls it, adultery, when they say cheat. He cannot commit adultery by getting another wife. Adultery is when a man sleeps with another man's wife, with somebody else's wife. But if he has his own wife, a woman that's not betrothed to another man, he can marry that woman, even though he have another wife that he's already married to. So let's go into the scriptures and look at this history of the Native Americans. First, we're going to pull out the verses, the laws that's talking about marriage is lawful. Marriage to more than one wife is lawful. Verse 10, it says, if he take him another wife, her food, her raiment, and her duty of marriage shall not be diminished. So another wife law is lawful. Okay. Here, Deuteronomy 21:15. If a man have two wives, I'm not going to get into all the rest, just pretty much saying that he can't discriminate on the inheritance. The inheritance got to go to the firstborn son, no matter how he feel. And the example of that is with Jacob and Esau. Esau got the inheritance first, and Jacob is going to get the inheritance later. So when you go into the history, let's get another instance where you got more than two. Let's see here. I think it's in Chronicles. Okay. It say in 2 Chronicles 13:21, and Abijah waxed mighty and married 14 wives. He married 14 wives. King David had multiple wives. King Solomon had 1,000 wives. This was the culture of the Israelites, and this is the law that was given to Moses. Let's get where this law came from. Let's see here. Let's put here finger of God. Okay, we got to go back. Now, let's see where this law came from. Then we're gonna get the Native American culture that they was practicing. Okay, here we go. It says, wrong one. It says, and he gave Moses, when he had made an end of communing with him upon Mount Sinai, 2 tables of testimony, tablets of stone written with the finger of God. Written with the finger of God. Exodus was written with the finger of God. Deuteronomy was written with the finger of God. You see, Chronicles was after the fact, because that's what Joshua was writing. Chronicles. And First Kings, I think, was written by Jeremiah, not Joshua. Salakia. Jeremiah and First Kings was written by Jeremiah. What did I say? Jeremiah wrote First Kings and Chronicles. That's what I meant to say. But they were following the laws that was given to Moses on Mount Sinai. And so these laws, let's get that before I go to the history. Let's see if what the Christians say, sweet Jesus did away with the laws and what the prophet said. It says in Matthew 5:17, think not that I came to destroy the law or the prophets. I am not come to destroy. He repeated himself, but to fulfill. He came to fulfill the prophecies. And the prophecy was no prophecy to say he was going to come and destroy any law. No prophecies to say that the people would stop, or God would tell the people to stop following his laws and follow some imagination of their heart. Verse 19 say, whosoever shall break one of the least of these commandments and teach men so. So if you teach men that they ain't got to do the law and obey the laws that was given to Moses, it says he shall be called least in the kingdom of heaven. Pretty much saying you're not even going to make it to the kingdom of heaven. And you should not be telling people not that these laws is done away with, and God don't deal with the laws anymore, because he do, and it's still on the books, and it ain't went nowhere. Now let's go to this history of the Native Americans. All right, it says, for such frontier hazardous as disease, infectious disease, hostile tribes, arrows, and white man bullets widowed many more. So they was already killing the Native American. It says the U.S. government dismantled the institution. See, the U.S. government, the so-called white man with his bullets, forced the Native Americans not to have multiple wives. They had multiple wives, up to 7. And so they came and made these men send their wives away. That's what Daniel 7:25 talks about. The last kingdom on earth, which is the so-called white man rulership. He was going to change the laws and speak great words against the Most High. You see, saying that the Most High is not in agreement with multiple wives. That's one of the things he's gonna see. He's saying all kind of stuff. But here it says, if the first marriage worked out, others were easier. See, if his first marriage worked where he has a woman that understands what's going on, it was easier. It said the sister marriage reduced the problems of jealousy and eliminated the taboo of incest, which all tribes abhorred. Why did all tribes abhor? Because they was going by the culture and the laws of Moses. This is what they was living. They was living that culture. And it says, most Indian couples desperately wanted at least one boy to keep producing girls until they got one. Okay, let's see here. It says a good hunter could feed not only his own wife, but also one or more of her sisters. And look at what, so it looked like this is certified history, so anybody could write it. So it could be a Jake or it could be one of these dragons. They say, why did the women put up with this? See, this is the American mentality. The culture of plain Indian society uh, was such that boys and girls didn't relate much to one another, and except for romance and copulation, tended to feel more comfortable with members of their own sex. Indian women worked constantly, but they tended to work in gossiping, giggling groups and took great comfort in the presence of other women. See, this is what our women they take comfort in hanging with each other, doing wickedness. See, but when it comes to doing something right, when it comes to helping the men of their nation out, see, the history shows that they don't take no comfort in that. That is very uncomfortable due to the lies that was told by these beasts. Because like second Corinthians chapter 4 verse 4, it say the God of this world has blinded the mind of the unbelievers. See, he blinded their minds because they can hear the law and still it ain't gonna make no effect on them. Because he done told them that the law is done away with. So you can hear the law all day, but this dragon done blinded their minds. The U.S. government say you can't have more than one wife unless you move to some other state or move to Mexico. And you see, and so he's setting the guidelines and controlling. That's why I say government. He's governing. He's controlling the mentality, the minds of the people, and mainly the women, where is you got jealousy going on. You got them not putting up with this, with that law that was given to the men of their nation. And so men cannot cheat. Could nobody tell you the laws of Moses is in full effect. You see, let me go back to Revelation before I close out. Revelations, Apostle John, who Yahushua, who they ignorantly called Jesus Christ, he told John and he told Mary, he said, Mary, here go your son, here's your son, John. And John, here's your mother, Mary. You see, this is how close the Apostle John was with Yahushua. So anyhow, he told the angel to give John this vision. And thinking 22:14, bingo. It says, blessed are they that do his commandments, that they may have right to the tree of life and may enter in through the gates into the city. And the commandment was that the law is not done away with. And if you disobey one of the least of the commandments that was in the law, you're not gonna go to the tree of life and enter into the gates of the cities. See, you're gonna be an idolater, loving the people that's making a lie, saying that the laws is done away with, because a man can have more than one wife. Okay, what no American government or whoever the so-called white man think he is, they can have whatever they want. and you ain't got to deal with these people. You see, if you want to give your wife and children something, you write a will and you give it to them. You don't need the white man to okay everything in your life. He is not your God. But I'm going to leave it there. All praises to Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shah, Ba'ashim Rekakadash. Double honors to the elders pushing the truth. Peace to the elect worldwide, the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, descendants of slaves scattered around the globe. Our kingdom of Israel is at hand. Shalom.